everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Boise, Idaho. We're here for the 2021 USA Cycling Paracycling Road National Championships hosted by CAF, a partnership with CAF, USA Cycling, and U.S. Paralympics. Our next guest, Mr. Ivan Perez, who will be racing here this weekend. Flew all the way from Texas to race. So Ivan, take me back. What were your sports growing up?
Just a typical sports.
Try to get this guy a little closer.
Okay. Yeah, just a typical sports. Football, soccer, and stuff. But I was more raised to like just work, and help my mother out to be able to pay the bills and stuff like that.
And when did you decide? Did you have a family history of being in the military? Or was that something?
No, I'm first generation. So my mother crossed over to give me a better life and raised me in the United States. So I'm first generation. And
from where?
From my mom's from Mexico, from Guadalajara. I just we didn't grow up, in a high, financial situation, so we depended on the government a lot. And when I was growing up, that's just one thing I told myself that I felt like I needed to do to say thank you to my country, because it did so much for me growing up. And when the 9/11 situation happened, I remember being in my biology class, and that's when I realized that I sat there in my biology class and said, yeah, I'm going to join and I'm going to be infantry, because it was really painful to see all that and see so much suffering going on, So
right.
It made me realize that I wanted to join the military.
And you went Army?
Marine Corps.
You went Marine Corps?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They give you an Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, so it was it was more of a pride thing than money. So.
Exactly. And so when was your first deployment?
It was my only deployment. It was in 2007.
And what happened?
We were getting ready to go to the FOB, and I got hit by a sniper under my SAPI plates, so right under my armor.
Yes.
And it came in through the back on the left side, and it came out through the front on the right side, and it immediately paralyzed me from the waist down. After that, I was in a coma for about 3 months, and medically induced coma, and struggling to, I guess, stay alive or whatever. And then my recovery started happening. My left leg came back pretty quick as far as like feeling the movement and whatnot. And I couldn't feel anything on my right side. Over months, I started getting feeling back. And that's pretty much all I got. So from the knee up, I can feel everything.
Right.
And I have a little bit of strength on my hip flexors, but there's probably no use of my quad or my hamstring. And then from the knee down, I don't feel anything.
And how important was sport for you getting back into life?
Well, it's a real like emotional situation for me, because staying active was something that I did after I had my second child, and I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. I didn't want to just sit around and blame everything on PTSD or being in the military or being injured or whatever. And I was on a lot of medicine, and I was overweight. I was 280 pounds at the time. I just wasn't happy with myself. And I just, the Semper Fi Fund got me a hand cycle.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I just started, I started riding around my neighborhood. And after that, I started riding I got a little more comfortable riding outside my neighborhood, and I vividly remember the day, and I was this naive because it was in the middle of the night, when I told my ex to follow me with the truck. And
with the headlights on.
Yeah, because it was a night, but I needed to get over the fear of riding on the road,
Sure.
So I put that 4th Street through hell to be able to just, really just push myself. And that was kind of like my road to recovery, without any medication, without, nothing. And then unfortunately, my marital life came to an end, and I needed to work on myself. So, did a lot of like mental therapy, and it just came to find out that like just staying active and having goals and having a routine and having structure really, really helps me be able to be happy, So I have a really personal connection when it comes to just any kind of like activity, not just cycling. I like cycling because it makes me suffer, and it's just something that you can either enjoy or you can, really suffer in. But I mean, sled hockey has been a big part of my life. It's a sport that I really love as well. It taught me a lot about, being a team.
Yes.
And strength and conditioning, CrossFit. I mean, yeah, you name it. It's just being active and not using, the wheelchair as an excuse to say, like I can't do something or whatever. You always find a different way to do things, I think. And as long as you don't mind getting creative with it, you'll figure it out. But it's the most important thing to me is up here. It keeps me sane.
During COVID, was that a tough time? Because obviously you couldn't go to play sled hockey. You could
Yeah.
go outside on a hand cycle.
Yeah. So
Which is about
that's actually really when I got into it that much, into the hand cycle, because to me the hand cycle has always been something I do recreationally and mainly do for cardio in the morning.
Yep.
Not necessarily something I was planning on competing in, but then again I was on a Force G, so that's a very recreational type of bike. I didn't realize that once you get on a kneeler, you can go really fast and
Really
it's
fast.
really fun, So I didn't see that there was any tryouts or anything going on for sled hockey, so I was really bummed out about that, and I didn't want to like fall into a depression or anything, and I ended up just cycling constantly, pretty much every single day. Got in contact with I was put in contact with my coach, the coach that I have now, and he's been not only my coach but a big mentor through all this, and really like taught me equipment, really taught me aerodynamics. I mean, it's not just going, where like to me cycling has always been just go and have fun and go do your cardio and that's it, but like there's so much more into it to be able to reach those high speeds, and not understanding sitting positions and strides.
Yep.
and everything, so it's what got me intrigued. I've always told everybody that as long as it's challenging, I love it. If it's easy to figure out, like it's going to be boring to me and I'm not going to have
You're not
interest
gonna do
in
it.
Yeah. So it's continuous interest in it.
And you did. You went to Huntsville and you got fifth down there.
Yeah, so it was my coach wanted me to just get the experience from it. It was mentally rough to like understand that you weren't really looking to place, So it was more about getting the experience. And
That's the first
going
time
out
you
there.
were going against some of the best guys in the country.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and then I didn't have a hand cycle. I couldn't compete on the Force G, so
Right.
I had to get a kneeler. Fortunately, somebody that lives close to me had one that she let me borrow, and I had to really modify that one to be able to make it fit me, because
Exactly.
it was really, even though I'm close to like 6'2", it was really long front and back, and it was really loose left to right. So it was a lot of learning really, really fast and adapting to it really fast, So, I mean, I'm happy with what happened. I got fifth place on the road race. On the TT, I ended up hitting a curb and getting stuck because I got misdirected. So, given the circumstances, given the equipment, I can't really complain about it, So I'm pretty excited to finally be able to put all my training to the test and see what happens.
How hard was it when I interview guys who come back from Iraq and Afghanistan? A lot of times the hardest part is you've been injured, but you're not part of that group anymore. These are your buddies, your brothers who are still over there, and they feel sort of a sense of guilt that they're not there with their guys.
Yeah.
Did you go through that?
Yeah, that was my biggest sense of struggle. That was my biggest struggle,
Yeah.
because they weren't sure what kind of injury I had. At first, they didn't realize it was a spinal cord injury.
Yes.
So they told me that it was very highly possible I was going to go back.
Right.
Doing everything in your power to be able to do something, and then seeing that it's not going to happen and accepting that is really painful. And then to me, it was more about seeing guys that I went to School of Infantry with come back and missing legs,
Yes.
being burned, and not being able to do anything about it, because I did what I feel like was a mistake. Obviously, everybody says it wasn't, but whatever. But to me, it just feels like I wasn't able to be there to help.
So you feel a little guilt that these guys came back. You could have done something to prevent them from getting burned or getting shot.
Yeah, for a long time I did.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
losing some friends out there that you used to like room with and stuff, and finding out about it was really painful for me.
Yeah.
That's really where like kind of like fitness started kicking in for me, because I got hurt really young. I was 20 years old. I was in a coma on my 21st birthday. So like when I started my recovery, it was a really, really long, prolonged recovery. And once I got out of the hospital after like a year and a half, I think I didn't have a drinking problem, but I would just try to fall asleep because like I couldn't sleep. So it's one of my biggest struggles is sleep.
Still.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things where, you know, like I was young and I didn't know any better. You know, as you get older, you mature and you understand yourself a little bit better. And when I started, you know, saying I need to change because of not, you know, it didn't become about me anymore. It was about my kids now.
How many kids you have?
I have 2 little girls.
How fun is that?
Yeah, they're a blast. I love seeing their personalities over time just develop, you know.
Yeah.
So it ended up becoming about them and me possibly being an example for them, and not only that, but living longer. I know I'm at a disadvantage being in a wheelchair, so I wanted to take care of myself as much as possible, watch what I eat, you know, train and just stay as healthy as possible, not for me but for them, you know. So I want to be there for a while for them.
Is the goal now that you're in a kneeler, you're in something that fits, you're racing here, right? You're doing the time trial road race?
Yeah, the road race, a crit, pretty much everything.
Everything.
If there's anybody that wants to do a team relay with me, that'd be great.
You're in.
Yeah, because I signed up for that too. I just don't know how the team thing works. So
yeah.
I'm so down for it. It sounds fun. So yeah.
So the goal will be to try make national team and potentially go to Perez?
I don't want to. I have a really big thing about not looking that far forward.
Okay.
So if it happens,
I get it.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. I felt like with sled hockey, I got way caught up on that, and like that I got tunnel vision with that. So
and then when it doesn't happen, then it's like
yeah. So right now, I think my biggest goal is just, you know, beating my limits. Like every single time I've been doing a road race or a time trial, I write down my average speed, and I, regardless of the course, I try to, you know, beat that and go a little bit higher. So it becomes more personal for me, and that's the thing about the bike. It's a very you versus you thing, and there's a lot of learning involved. So to me, my goal is to just be able to reflect back and make sure that I'm improving or see grabs that show that I'm you know, my fitness is going up. There's no flat line or anything.
Right.
That's really my goal.
How important has your coach been?
He's well, I don't want it to get to his head, you know, but he's been
okay.
Yeah, he's been a good. It's more than a coach thing. He's a really good mentor. That's really the big thing, because I don't know anything about race tactics. I don't understand. I'm barely starting to understand.
You're brand new.
Yeah, you know, so going from like doing it for fun to like saying, okay, I'm gonna, you know, compete in it. It's totally different, right? Like I have a whole routine to be able to make sure that everything goes good. My dietitian helps out a lot. My sports psychologist, which is the lady, mental health coach, I guess, same thing, is the one that doesn't let me look in the future too much. You know, that's exactly why I said that. So it's just all those little variables have come from his suggestions. So to me, it's just one of those things where I just tried my best to make sure that I listen and I ask and I consider his wisdom, because he's been doing it for a long time, and it obviously shows, because like my results from this year to last year, it's a substantial difference, you know. So
love it.
I'm pretty excited.
Thanks so much for taking time, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Ivan Perez has been our guest, everybody. Again, this is Breakfast with Bob from the 2021 USA Cycling Paracycling Road National Championships. Hold on, we will be right back.